California. I grew up in San Diego. My dad was in the Navy, so La Jolla Shores was our favorite beach. Had the best sand, the best playground. My youngest of my 3 kids, Jonathan, 6 years old at the time, he loved it because it had the best playground, the one with the rocket ship and the toys and the biggest slide. So anytime we went to La Jolla Shores, he absolutely had a blast. This is a trip in particular, though, it's kind of special. My brother, his wife, and his 2 girls were visiting from Tacoma, Washington. And so they came down. I know, they come down. It was awesome. We had a great day. So we had to bring 2 cars a day because, of all the people that we have with us. You get there early, got our barbecue pit, set out our towels. Ended up being an amazing day. Watched the sunset, had a barbecue, did roasted marshmallows. Everything was awesome. Finally, it was time to start packing up to go home. So we get the cars packed up, head on home, 20-minute drive. My wife walks in the house and the telephone rings. She picks up the phone and says, hello. Well, her face went from a calm to a panic when she heard the words, Mom, this is Jonathan. You left me at the beach.
I was so scared.
Parent of the year material. So not needless to say, my wife and I were like, we got to go. We get in my Maxima, it's a 5-speed, it's got 190 horsepower, and I use all of them to get back to the beach in 10 minutes, so it was kind of illegal. We got there was our little child sitting between 2 beautiful college girls. As we're walking up, I'm sure they're looking at us like, what losers. And Jonathan, you can tell he'd been crying for at least a half hour. He runs into her arms, and it was a moment. It was a moment. Have you ever went through a time when you felt left out or left behind? Lost in a store? You didn't feel like you fit in, whatever? So you can all relate to this, right? And a lot of times, when you think about high schools and where you're at in high school can be a scary time in your life. And especially if you're kind of either a new student, brand new to the school, and that's where everybody starts, either as freshmen or sophomores, or maybe you moved in from out of city, out of district, whatever. But as leaders, I know one of your challenges is how do you connect students that are either new or just not connected to your school spirit, right? How are you true to your school? I love the theme because it wraps in so well with what leaders should be doing. And you think about high school, man, it's hard. My first week of high school, I came in from a district that wasn't directly connected, so I didn't know many people. First week at school was hard because it was 3,000 students, one of the biggest high schools in San Diego. I was kind of a minority there. I'm Mexican, but I don't look Mexican, but I'm Mexican. They didn't want me. First 4 days of school, I did the walk of shame during the hardest part of the day for a new kid, which is when?
Lunch.
Yeah, and you know why, right? Because everybody has their own friend groups already. Everybody's already sitting together. And I was walking around with my food, and I was like, you guys look nice. And they looked at me, I don't think so, Mr. New Kid. You guys look cool. I don't think so. I felt like Forrest Gump on the bus. You can't sit here, right? And then day 4 changed that, though, because somebody came up to me, and I'll never forget. She looks at me, and she says, hello. I wasn't even sure if she was talking to me at first. I looked up, and she was. Beautiful, blonde bombshell. Like, I was so nervous. I said, hi. My little sophomore voice, hi. She says, what's your name? Who's Ricky? Everybody called me Ricky in high school. I said, she goes, well, my name's Heather, Ricky. I'm the captain of the swim team. I'm looking for boys that want to join the swim team. Okay! Of course! And Heather changed my life that day because I went from this kid who didn't know anybody, walking around looking to be recognized, wanted to belong, wanted to feel like I was part of something, and all of a sudden, somebody, a senior, a girl, happened to be kind of hot, said hello, said you want to join something. She changed my sophomore year. Because if you think about it, what other time in your life do you go through more changing as a person than you do in high school? Think about who you are when you first started and who you are now. Are you a little different? I was going to say, because you think about it, I've had some people argue with me. They're like, dude, no way, man, Rick. When I was a little baby, I did way more changing as a baby because that's when I learned how to walk, talk, and eat. You did a lot of changes as a baby, right? But most of that was talking to you about mom and dad. They're like, here's a fork cut, thanks, mom. Just working with yourself. Challenging, I know, but mom and dad were in charge of that, weren't they? Somebody was like, Rick, you don't understand, dude. Junior high was way more changing because the body that I came into junior high with was definitely not the body that I left with. Awkward. And that's true, right? I mean, the boys were changing, the girls, you're changing, the boys don't know what to think about you guys. You're like, whoa, our girl. You went from cooties to ooh, right? I mean, seriously. And the boys were just like, I'm changing. So a lot of changes in junior high, but see, I love high school because I think that's the first time that you are actually in charge of your change. For the first time in your life, you are in charge of your change. Do parents and adults have a little less influence when you get into high school? Yes. Can we be real? Yes. Right? When you go in front of the mirror and mom always made you part the hair to the left, you're like, I'm going to rebel, go to the right. Forget it, I'm a rebellious, you know? You know how your makeup's going to look? Are you going to have straight hair, curly hair, the way you dress? You know, you're going to decide kind of the person you want to be. You're going to show up to school and you're going to go, that guy looks cool, I'm going to walk like him. You know? All these things. You're discovering your own journey, right? High school is hard because so many changes take place. Don't get me wrong, I loved high school, but I would never, ever want to go back. Why, Rick? You said it was so great. It's hard. So just know that I recognize it, okay? I recognize that high school is hard because of change. Change makes high school hard. So you recognize that individually, right? You're thinking to yourself, maybe I painted the picture. Yeah, gosh, I am a lot different, you know? But think about everybody else around you in your school. You're all going through that same journey together. This. Truth number one, we are all insecure. Every single one of us. We're a guy insecure. Everybody is insecure. I'm insecure. I'm wondering, are you guys like looking at me going, that's a big boy? Are you looking at me going, I don't think I like his hair. I don't like his shoes. Who is this guy? Everybody has insecurities. We all have them. Adults, students, children, old people. And I'm not going to qualify what an old person is because we might have a few in the room. We all have insecurities. We all also hate to be dismissed. Don't you hate it when you have a great idea? Hey guys, I got a great idea. Let's go like for a movie. Think it's an ice cream. And they go, that's a terrible idea. We hate it. If somebody's not listening to us and we don't have their attention when we're talking, we feel like this is important. And they're like looking at different things, texting, Facebook and whatever. Third one is this. We love to be appreciated, don't we? Yeah. When we hear, hey, you know what, nice job on that rally yesterday. That was a great rally. That dance, those decorations, who was in charge of decorations? Good job. We love to be appreciated. The last truth is this. We need to be understood. Can everybody understand all of us? No. Have you ever felt like saying, you just don't understand my life? I felt that way before. You don't understand because you haven't been in my life. You haven't lived what I've gone through. You haven't been through the traumas that I've had. But we all crave somebody to understand us, right? That's why we search for people that says, you know what? I heard your story, and that happened to me. And that connection happens. We need to have that understanding. Because I want you to picture for a moment your school for just 1 week. If every one of you in this room went back to your school and you treated everyone you come in contact with these 4 things in the front of your mind. And every interaction was based on this understanding. Would that interaction be a little different? Yes. And then if everybody you talked to for just 1 week, you kept that in your mind and you treated them as such, would you impact them maybe to impact somebody else? It's something that starts with you. Because I'm a big believer that I can't control anybody else around me. I know that. I've learned that the hard way. My wife has tried to control me and I've tried to control her and it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. But what can I control? And if I treat people with this understanding, things go really well. My question is this. What's your word? Rick, what do you mean? What's What's my word? What word do you want people to think about when they say your name? What word do you want to be known for when people hear about you or see you? Oh, he's a player. Some of your gigglings, you're like, that's the truth. I know, I didn't give you the warning, I'm a little weird. Some people, maybe your word is fun. Oh man, when he walks in the room, it just lights up. Man, I mean, his energy just like, whoa, what happened? Fun, right? Wow. Some people's word is integrity. Man, that guy means what he says and says what he means and he does what he says. That's awesome. That guy's, I think of integrity. Maybe your word is passionate. Oh, I believe, right? That guy's passionate, right? We all have a word that either people know or think about when they see us, but I'm a big believer in crafting our own journey. So what do I want people to think about me? What word do I want them to put down in their hearts and minds? So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to have you write 3 words down that you want people to know you for. 3 words. So Rick, again, what's the point of this? It's, as a leader, if you know who you are, the essence of who you want to be, and maybe this is something you want to be. Maybe this is something you're like, you know, if I'm real and honest with myself, maybe I am this word, but here's what I want to be known as. And that's okay. Your word is going to change. When I was your age, do you think I had my life figured out the way I do now? Oh no, it's been a journey. Usually, if I shared out the stories, you'd be like, man, you're still smiling? Because I've been through a lot. So this is a journey that's going to take time. So if you're not sure about your words, let me just set your hearts at ease. There is no right or wrong answer. Okay? This is your word. This is your word. And it can be whatever is yours right now. Rick, can I change it tomorrow if I change my mind? Yes, you can. The idea of your journey is that it's yours. You're in complete control as a student leader. So, I want you to circle the one. I know. No! I'm all of them. But I want you to think of the one word that you feel is standing out the most. I want you to circle the one that you want to be known for the most. What rises to the top? What percolates to the top as being the most important word? Okay? Let me ask you a question. Do you respect me because of my title?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, now, you're right. You guys are right on the right track. You're like, well, what do you mean? Give me more context. Let me clarify. Like, if I walked in and if I was the president of the United States, you might even, if I walked in and I was Obama, you'd be like, whoa, love me, hate me, you're going to give me some respect, right? That's right. Because of that title. So there are certain privileges that come with the title. But I'm going to argue and try to just slightly curve your thinking a little bit with something. To me, the most important title that any of us have is human being. Human being. And it's called what's your comma. I'm not going to have you do it right this instant, but what do you mean by that? Okay, let me tell you what I mean. So you have a word, right? The word is like a title. So Rick Morton, passionate, on fire, or whatever, right? Whatever my word is. Rick Morton, authentic. Oh, he's true to himself, right? Whatever the word is. Whatever the word is. So my word is kind of like the title. Do you guys follow along? So my name, my word, and now I want to hear what your message is, what your comma is. Okay, what do you mean by that? Well, what are you all about? What is your mission? Why do you live? What do you do during the day? What's your focus on when you wake up in the morning? Oh, my hair's got to be perfect, boyfriend, right? Whatever. What do you think about? Well, what's your message? What's your comma? So let me give you an example. So mine, Rick Morton, passionate, authentic, changes lives and impacts futures. Right? What do? I'm passionate about helping students succeed. Right? You're like, Rick, don't you have it figured out yet? I don't. That's the beauty of it. See, mine's changing every day too. But it's important to ask yourself this question, especially as a student leader. Why? Because you have some influence in your school, right? You can be a change agent. You can go back to your school and start living out these 4 human truths and truly be true to your school in every way. Because you're going to walk into somebody, and maybe they had a really bad day. And man, just one smile and a hello would just sort of shift their attitude just a little bit. And it's because you recognize that people have 4 human truths about them. They're insecure, we hate to be dismissed, we love to be appreciated, and we need to be understood. So what's your message? So I guess what I'm saying is if a corporation feels like it's important enough to spend billions of dollars on that message, doesn't it make sense as a student leader to spend just a half hour of time figuring yours out? So that's what I want to do now, guys. I want for you guys to figure out your comma. I want you to keep it simple, keep it no more than 1 sentence, and I want it to be an extension of your word. Does that make sense? So you think about your word, now I want you to create your message, to create your comma. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to bring it home, okay? We're going to bring what we're doing home. So we talked about your word, which is your presence, right? So when people say your name, Rick Morton, authentic, awesome, passionate, sexy. No, I'm just kidding. So presence, your word, and what is the message? It's an extension, right? It's an extension of your word. And you guys did such an eloquent job. Thank you so much for sharing. I love hearing what you come up with because it's an amazing story of where you guys are going to go next. And when that clarity, I want you guys to hang those on the wall somewhere and look at it every day because you're going to look at it and maybe one day you'll wake up and go, it's changed. Or you can be reminded of what you want to be, right? It's such a great visual. But your message is an extension of that. So bottom line though, what is it that counts? You know, I talked about earlier the title. Titles mean nothing to me. It's all about this. What have you done for me lately?
Ooh, yeah.
Right? Yeah. So, your he's so right. I know. So the message, an extension of your word, but bottom line, it's about what you do, right? I don't know what your word is and your message is unless you're what? There's some action. Something has to happen. So really, that's where it comes into. Being true to your school. It's hard work. I never said this was easy, did I? In fact, I'm making you think maybe, and I hope that I'm engaging your mind to think about, well, what is it that I want? And maybe you have a little bit of a new vision, or maybe your vision is clear. I don't know, but I hope I helped you come up with something that's going to make a difference, not only for you, but your school when you go back. Because that's the whole time. The whole reason we're meeting together is what can we learn here that'll go back to the school and make that school a little bit of a better place. Can I change the whole school in one day? I don't think so. But can you make a difference one person at a time? I bet you can. So these are all connected, okay? They're connected. Your word is connected to your message, and your message is connected to what you do. And it all comes back around because people will know your word by what? Your actions. By your actions. See? Full circle. So when you guys go back to your schools, this was all done to figure out, well, what is it that I want to do? And your actions do matter, don't they? I mean, what we do is basically a signal as to who we are, right? If I'm a cat, that means I should be able to climb a tree. If you see something furry from a distance climbing a tree, you're not going to go, that's a pig, right? No, that's got to be a squirrel or a cat, right? So what I do gives you an idea of who I am, right? If I talk about my amazing children, you know that, hey, maybe I'm a father. If I talk about my incredible wife, you know I'm a husband. Celebrated 24 years on Monday. What's up? So, you know, what we do in our schools doesn't matter. How we are in the field, how we are in the team, in the courts, in the commons. What we do when we're at that building, it matters. Every day you're making tons of decisions. The average person makes 35,000 decisions a day. And if you stay true to those 4 human truths, if you stay true to your word, if you stay true to your message and remind yourself of that every day, every one of those interactions is going to be a chain reaction to something better. See, we can make the difference in our schools, but I realize that every school has its challenges. I'm not not just this fantasy, everything's perfect kind of guy. I understand that attitude is hard to remain positive when you're a leader, isn't it? You got ankle biters. Ankle biters are tough because you go out there and you're trying to make a difference, and it can just take one person could just rain on your parade. Am I right? And then you feel discouraged the rest of the day. You had a goal. I'm going to go ahead and encourage 5. I love the smile ones, but the message, I want to make 5 people smile. But if you smile the first person, and you smile them, they're like, ooh, that didn't go so well. The next person, hi, whatever. Like I said, I'm silly. But I know how hard it can be. And I know for a leader or a person who's trying to make a difference, the attitude that you have is incredibly important to keep positive. And it's hard. So I want to share a little scenario that I call, don't give away your remote. Okay? So this is a remote control, and it controls, just for your imagination purposes, me. Imagine that, right? He's like, well, give it to me, Ricky. Right? Everything about this, I can control who I am, what I do. I've got a button on here that goes louder. What's up, what's up, what's up? Right? I can lower myself. Hey, what's up, what's up, what's up? I have an angry button on here. What's up? I have a happy button. What's up? I love that button. Okay. So in other words, this controls me. I have control, right? Whose hand is it in? It's mine, right? But let me ask you a question. How many of you have a brother and sister that know exactly where your remote is and then exactly what button to push? Okay? Yeah, you know so. And you're like, I don't know how they do it. You let your guard down. You left your remote on the kitchen table. Little Johnny comes like, oh, look, it's Susie's remote. And you're by the table. You're like, bam, 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 bam. You're over the corner. What's up now? I'm just saying. Just saying. So my little advice when it comes to this simple metaphor is don't give it away. Don't give it away. Don't give it away. How many drive? You know where I'm going with this. You're on a perfect drive. You just got out of driving school, so you're at 10 and 12. You're obeying all the laws of the land. You're obeying the speed limit. Yep, check. Seatbelts on, check, check. And out of nowhere, somebody just comes and cuts you off and skids your bumper. And I'm sure you do exactly what your parents taught you. Oh, you must be in a hurry. Come on. I didn't need that bumper anyway. Go ahead. I don't think so, Mr. Rick. You're probably giving them certain sign language. What's going on? Right?
Follow.
Yeah, you're going to follow them. But you know what you just did? What'd you do with this? You gave it away. And did you most likely even know that person? Probably not. Did they sense your anger? Did they feel your retribution?
No.
What you're doing is important. What you're doing could save a life. And I think there's situations that happen in our schools every year where people decide to take their life because they think nobody cares. And you could be that one person that said, hey, you know what? Thanks for showing up today. What's your name? That one little thing. They're going to go home. Oh, what, honey? A beautiful girl said hello. Saying it can make a difference. It can make a difference. So there was a wise man, had the finest stallions in all the land. He woke up one day to find out that his number one stallion went missing, went gone. So his neighbor comes over and says, everyone, I heard what happened. What'd you hear? Well, I heard that your number one stallion, he's gone, he's missing. Yes? Well, isn't that too bad? Excuse me? Well, it's too bad that he's missing, isn't it? Well, it's too bad that he's gone, but how do you know it's bad that he's gone? Neighbor's like, what? What? Next day, guess what happened? Came back. And with it, brought a beautiful white wild stallion. He was looking for a friend. Neighbor comes back over. Emily, when I heard what happened. What'd you hear? What I hear? I heard the wild stallion came back and with it brought a beautiful friend. That's awesome. That's great. Excuse me? Well, it's great that he's back, isn't it? How do you know it's good that he's back? What? strange. Next day, his only son trying to break in the wild stallion fell off and broke his leg. Neighbor comes over. Oh, Eldon, I heard what happened. What'd you hear? Bang, son. What I hear? Did your kid break his leg or not? Well, yes, when my only son was trying to break in the wild stallion, he fell off and he fractured his femur. That's true. That's fact. He broke his leg. Neighbor's like, kid broke his leg. It's true. It's fact. It's too bad your kid broke his leg, ain't it? Excuse me? It's too bad your kid broke his leg, ain't it? Well, it's true that he broke his leg, but how do you know it's bad? He walked away completely disgusted. The very next day, a Chinese warlord came through their part of China, conscripting all able-bodied young men to go fight in a war, which would have led to certain death. His only son, not being able-bodied, didn't have to go fight. So the yin and yang, it's not what happens to you in life that affects you, it's how you interpret it, what you think about it. In other words, you're in control. You're in control of your surroundings. Starfish reminds me that life is a lot simpler than I make it out to be. Like, I feel like I want to change the world. Come on, world! Let's go! Right? That's the way I feel! Come on, guys, let's go! Right? And you know what the reality is? Does that work? You know what? We all learned this today, but I'm not expecting you to go out and change the world, change your school, change your group, change your friends. Nothing. All I want you to do is make a difference with one person at a time. One person at a time. The story goes, the guy was jogging on the beach. He sees a girl dancing on the sand. As he gets closer, she's not dancing on the sand. She's throwing starfish into the ocean. He's like, girl, what are you doing? So I'm throwing starfish in the ocean. He's like, why? Well, if I don't, they'll die. He looks up and down the beach and notices there's thousands of starfish. He's like, girl, what possible difference can you make? Look at them. There's thousands of them. She just smiled, picked one up, went, made a difference for that one. Boom. Simple. One person, Heather, made a difference in my life. I shared the story earlier. My first week of school, the girl came up and said hello to me. She invited me to the swim party on Friday night at Cameron Williams' house. She goes, you got any friends? I go, I got one. Best friend Scott Whitney to this day. Scott, you want to join the swim team? He's like, well, yeah, sure. They're having a party Friday night. I'm like, cool, let's go. Friday night, got on our bikes 4 miles. Woo! Going to the swim party, right? As we get to the house, music was cranking, probably like Beastie Boys. Brass, monkey, that monkey, monkey. It was awesome. We get behind, front door said, don't come in. We don't want any dirt on the carpet. So, okay, we're going back. Go in the back, we get to the gate. Music was playing. And you know, in Southern California, these pools had those blue lights, and sort of the lights were dim in the backyard, but the blue lights sort of made everybody glow. And I was like, Scott, everybody looks like angels. It was awesome. And so we walked in, and we're doing the whole scan, like, ooh, look what's going on. I was like, can you believe it? And we were just excited because we were going to belong to something. Something, because I was not an athlete, like a football player in a school of 3,000 kids. So I did my scan, and all of a sudden, something caught my eye. I saw a girl dancing in a blue bikini. And I strapped up my sophomore courage, and I walked over to her, and I said the word that meant so much to me. Hello. What's your name? She said, hi, my name's Kathy. And 4 years later, we got married. But you know what's amazing is that there are Heathers in this room right now. I kid you not, you have so much power in your hello. Guys, be the Johnnies or whatever the name of school these days are. Be that cool kid that reaches out to that 5'7", $140, half the guy I am today kid. Hi, I'm Ricky. Man, you reach out, you'll make a difference. Guys, you have been such a phenomenal group, and I want to thank you so much for listening.